So what about hearing? You know, it's one of our most acute senses, hearing, and we sometimes forget some of the sort of nuances that come from hearing. Again, if we look at brand and product, becoming more important with podcasts, videos, you know, we've got video streaming, we've got all sorts of things happening now where people are maybe going to just hear your voice and they're not going to see you at the same time. And there's that disconnect. So are they going to get that same message when they're just hearing you, but they can't see you? And that's, you know, typically if you do a radio program, if anybody's ever been interviewed on the radio, it's so important how you can, Sue's nodding, you know, how you come across, the tone of your voice, you know, the intonation of your voice, the words you use. Do they represent your brand? And then, you know, if you're in a meeting or you're in a presentation to a client or you're pitching for some business, you know, what are the distractions like in the noise? What's happening in the room? Because again, you know, we think of music, you know, when we go to places, it can be really annoying, but equally it can be used to fantastic effect. So if we think of somebody like Abercrombie and Fitch, don't know if you know that store, Abercrombie and Fitch, very, very sort of modern store. Their music is blaring and pumping because they're creating a nightclub in their store. And they have that music like that, and obviously they've got the lighting's, it's dark, it's only highlighted on the clothes, but they've done that on purpose. You know, they want you to get the impression from what you're hearing that you're in a really hip, you know, environment, and this is where you want to hang out, this is where you need to be. So it can work really, really well, and a little bit of background music can really say something about your brand. You know, what is your brand about? You know, it's very important when you think of the strategy of your brand, how do you want to put that across to your customers? Who's checked their voicemail recently? A few people nod. You listen to your voicemail on your mobile? Does it represent you, your brand, your business? Do you say who you are? Do you say it's your business? You know, I called somebody back the other day. I didn't even know whether I'd got the right person. I just got some automated answer thing, and I'd left a message, and I thought, well, I don't know, it might have been that company, it might not have been. And it's quite off-putting again. And I actually have had a client who said to me, actually she asked me to help her to do a voicemail message. And I said, well, why do you not have one? And she said, oh, I can't be bothered, you know, because people don't leave messages. And so I said to her, so you don't mind missing business then? So if somebody phones you and they won't phone back, then you're not worried about that. So it's really important. So when you leave here today, find a little quiet corner and listen to your voicemail message. Might say a lot about you. And people, of course, have mentioned voice, the pitch, the volume of your voice. You know, if you're standing too close to somebody and you're shouting, they're not going to get a good impression. Ooh, you know. And equally, you know, if somebody's mumbling and they can't hear what you're saying, it's just as bad. Messaging we've talked about, and I mentioned earlier, you know, things that are off-putting. You know, if you've got big jangling things and while you're talking, it's all jangling, it's just off-putting, it's a distraction.